It started like any other night. Nothing strange, nothing unusual. I had just gotten home from a long day at work, exhausted, the kind of exhaustion where your bones feel heavy. I tossed my bag on the couch, made myself some instant noodles, and ate while watching mindless TV reruns. By the time I looked at the clock, it was 11:47 p.m. I sighed, brushed my teeth, double-checked that I had locked every window and door. My apartment was small, just a bedroom, living room, kitchen, and bathroom, easy to secure. At exactly 12:13 a.m., I crawled into bed. I remember the time clearly because the red digital numbers glowed like fire in the dark. I scrolled on my phone for a while. Social media, messages, pointless things. The silence of the apartment wrapped around me like a blanket. No traffic outside, no dogs barking, just silence. And then I heard it. At first I thought it was my imagination, just white noise. But no, it was breathing, slow, uneven, wet, coming from under my bed. My chest tightened. I stopped moving, stopped scrolling, straining my ears. The sound stopped immediately. I told myself it was nothing. Pipes in the wall, the hum of the building, maybe even my own breath bouncing back. I forced a little laugh just to break the tension. But then I turned off my phone, setting it on the nightstand. The room sank into perfect darkness, and I heard it again. This time there was no mistaking it. A deep inhale, a rattling exhale, right beneath me. I lay frozen, every muscle tensed. I didn't dare move. The weight of the silence pressed down on me, broken only by that steady rhythm, in and out. Seconds stretched into minutes. My heart hammered against my ribs so loud I was afraid whatever was under there could hear it. Finally, I gathered every ounce of courage I had. With shaking hands, I grabbed my phone, flicked on the flashlight, and leaned over the edge of the bed. The light swept across the floor. Empty. Just shadows, dust, and the forgotten sock I'd lost months ago. I even crouched down, lowering my head until I could peer underneath. Nothing. The space was bare. I let out a shaky laugh of relief. "You're losing it," I whispered to myself. I climbed back into bed, tucked myself in, and turned off the light. And that's when I heard it again. But this time, it wasn't under the bed. It was beside it, right next to my ear. A single exhale, warm and damp, brushed against my cheek. I bolted upright. My phone slipped from my hands and clattered to the floor, its light spinning wildly across the walls. The shadows seemed to stretch, bend, grow, and then the breathing followed. I scrambled out of bed and dashed to the door. My bare feet slapped against the floorboards, my breath coming in ragged gasps. I slammed into the living room, flipping on every light as I went. Standing there, heart racing, I tried to calm myself. "It's in your head," I whispered. "Just stress. Just exhaustion." But then I noticed something. My bedroom door was still open, and from the darkness inside, I heard it again, not breathing this time. Footsteps, slow, dragging, coming closer. My chest heaved. I reached for the nearest object I could grab, a lamp, and held it like a weapon. I stared at the doorway, waiting, listening, and then I saw it. A shadow, long, distorted, crawling along the wall like it wasn't bound by the same rules of light as me. The sound grew louder, the heavy inhale, the trembling exhale. I ran. I didn't care if I looked insane. I tore out of my apartment, down the stairs, barefoot and wild-eyed, into the freezing night. I drove straight to my brother's house. Didn't even explain much. Just told him I couldn't stay in my place. The next morning, I forced myself to go back. The apartment was normal, too normal. My bed was unmade, my phone was lying on the floor where I'd dropped it, the bedroom door still ajar. I almost convinced myself it had been a nightmare, sleep paralysis, exhaustion, something explainable, until I picked up my phone. The flashlight was still on, and there was a new video in my gallery. I didn't remember recording it. Hands shaking, I pressed play. The camera was angled low, shaky, as if someone had been holding it underneath the bed, and in the faint light, I saw myself, lying on my side, sleeping, completely still. For a few seconds, nothing happened, and then something moved behind me, a face, pale, wide sunken eyes, a mouth stretched into a grin, far too big for a human face. It leaned close, so close its lips almost brushed my ear. And then I heard it, that breathing, slow, wet, right before the video cut to black. So when you crawl into bed tonight, and you hear something breathing underneath you, don't look. Because if you do, it'll know you're awake.